Alrighty, folks. I'm joined by Iris out there in beautiful Toronto, Canada. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, definitely missed the US, but Toronto's pretty beautiful too.
Toronto's amazing. That's actually my mom's side of the family still all reside over there in Toronto. So you spent some time working in the States, but you're back in Toronto now.
Yeah, that's right.
W- How is it being back? How would you consider? Do you consider there any big difference between product management in Canada versus working? You work for some pretty impressive companies like Scale AI out there in the Bay Area. How would you consider the pace and the quality of work?
For sure. I would say there is definitely difference in terms of pace. Like in SF, I was working 9 to 9 and a lot of days. So a lot of grinding, a lot of hustling startup culture, especially at scale. And in Canada, there is a lot more work-life balance. But I would say there is you would think like it's like really slow, but it's actually not as slow as you think. Especially now with Toronto tech ecosystem and startup popping off. Like we just had Toronto Tech Week 2 weeks ago, and we had over like 400 or 500 events in that 1 week. Just like all the startups, all the tech companies hosting it. So I would say Toronto is picking up speed, and um, but there is still more risk averse companies and investors here. So for companies wanting to fundraise, there's definitely still a better place to go. But startup scene is picking up.
Amazing. And you also do a little bit of coaching yourself, right? Like helping
Yeah,
people, you said transition into product management or like leveling up in product management?
yeah, for sure. So I started out with the transitioning part because I myself transitioned from studying finance to being a PM. And I was initially going to Waterloo and thinking I would be like a VC, private equity, investment banking type of role. And
Uh-huh.
I tried all of those and decided that it wasn't for me. So decided to transition into product through building my nonprofit during COVID. So then after that, I started coaching people on what it takes for someone from a non-technical background to transition into product management. And I've been coaching for the past 4 years and helped over 30 people getting into their dream job as a PM from like a completely irrelevant background. So I would say it's fun. It's fulfilling to see that.
No way. How long did it I don't know if you ever saw this, but like the Uber CEO, they asked
Mhm.
him if he could go back in time and change anything about his career, what would he do? And he says, I would have left finance a lot sooner. How how long did it take for you to realize what was kind of the turning point? Because in New York in our program, we obviously work with a lot of investment banking analysts.
For sure.
The general transition trajectory used to be, I would say, probably before 2014, 2016 was like you
Mhm.
stay in it for 4 years, you either kind of move up or move out. Now,
Yeah.
people, I see them leaving 18 or 13 months. They kind of know sometimes even like by Friday, their first Friday, they're out. For you, like when did you realize this is not for me? Because I think um, people going into finance are pretty competitive. Like they kind of wrestle with like, am I quitting too soon? Should I kind of like, give it a little bit more of a shot? But for you, like when did you realize this is not even worth your time going through
Yeah, for sure. So
it?
I did initially think, oh, I want to do front office finance. So then I did my like first co-op at Scotiabank Sales and Trading. And I was like, trading floor is toxic. Everyone's swearing at me. And it's like 80% white male. And I feel like I don't belong here. And so there's like a culture mismatch. And then also co just, I didn't like the work I was doing. I thought it was very manual. It wasn't very interesting. And then second co-op, I tried private equity at Ontario Teachers Plan. So
Mhm.
they're like the second biggest PE fund in Canada, pension
Uh-huh.
fund as well. And I was seeing like my directors who have two kids flying all over the place and working till the office till like 8, 9 p.m. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, I don't think that's the future I want for myself. And when I see that like people who are so much higher than me and are still grinding so hard, I just realized like because my personal value, I value family, I value community and health. So it doesn't align with my personal value of things that matter in my life. So I was like, I'm out. And after that, I also tried VC, but then my partner at VC told me that you're never going to be a partner if you don't work in a startup as an operator. And I was like, you're right. Then I will get the F out. So, so I decided to venture into product and realize it's actually a lot more interesting work and also pretty good pay, good work
Hmm.
like better work life balance. Uh, and there is a lot more promise and potential in building the future.
Got it. How'd you end up getting a product manager job at scale? Um, I mean, as of right now, obviously, now that Alexander Wang is the chief AI officer at Meta,
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot more hype in the role. I mean, with the company. At the time, was it a very sought after name when you entered into the company?
Uh, it was thought after, but it wasn't as thought after as it wasn't as well known as now, probably. So when I was getting to like when I was doing new grad recruiting, I had my return offer from Microsoft. I met someone through career coaching actually, who works at Scale, and then she gave me a referral, and that's how I landed. And then also after multiple rounds of interview, how I landed Scale, and then another offer from Twitter at the time, now X, for their APM program. So then I was choosing between these three, and that was like 2022. That was before ChatGPT came out. That's before everyone knew about AI. Before this whole thing blew up. So I've heard about AI. I didn't know as much about it
Mm.
either. I was just like, oh, I think this is the future because there is some momentum going there, and Skill is doing like Skill is basically selling the shovel in a gold rush, in my opinion, that it is doing data labeling, and every ML company needs data labeling to build up their model. At the time, it was still like mainly ML, less LM. So I was like, oh, it seems like what they're doing is very interesting and I resonate with their business model. And I that's how I ended up like choosing to join Scale. Um, for how I got it, I would say it's probably half uh, luck and referral, half like the experience I built up through my internship because I interned at like after building Open Meal, I interned at BlackBerry. That was the first product co-op for security software. I mean, it, w it was a good starting point. And then after that, I interned at Google X on a robotic project, and then interned at Microsoft on accessibility, building productivity tools for people with ADHD. So because I had a more diverse background in terms of product internship and experience, and that helped a lot in me like leveraging those backgrounds to get into Skill AI.
Got it. You interned over there at BlackBerry, like how long?
That was like back in 2020, maybe for 4 months. Yeah.
Did you ever watch that BlackBerry movie?
No, what's the movie?
Oh, I think it's like a by and large Canadian cast where they talked about the starting of BlackBerry all the way until kind of more towards the end of it. Um,
Yeah.
interesting. So, uh, how did you get into coaching?
Yeah. So essentially, after I broke into product for internships, I started doing content creation on LinkedIn. So I started posting about how I landed my job at Google X, Microsoft, and then people were, I think my LinkedIn kind of just like went viral. A lot of people were engaging with the content, following my journey in terms of, well, this is how someone from a non-technical background broke into these big tech firms for PM internships. And then I had people like messaging me on LinkedIn for like coffee chats, asking me for tips for recruiting. And then I was like, oh, it sounds like I have a lot of demand for people interested in my advice.
Mhm.
So then I started coaching when I was still in school. So I was back in the day coaching like other co-ops to who want to also break into PM. And then after I graduated, I started coaching like more new grads or professional from other backgrounds breaking into PM. And I've also coached people who are more senior than me, but then they're transitioning from like a different country, coming to Canada.
Got
But
it.
I think I got cut off.
Slightly. I think you left off at like you started coaching more senior people that are coming in from other countries into Canada.
Yes. Yeah. So I had some like more diverse clientele after I graduated. Uh, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm just doing coaching for all different kind of folks trying to break into PM. And then now that I started my podcast as well, for Iris Lens, I wish I could interview you on it as well, when you're in Toronto. So
We'll get it. We will 100% get it.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So, let me see here. And then, like, what do you think people's biggest challenges are? Obviously, you're based in Toronto right now, and then I'm pretty sure you're somewhat of a rock star coming from like a Silicon Valley company like Scale AI, right? What do you think are some of people's biggest challenges right now in breaking into product management, especially for the Canadian market?
yeah. I feel like the same challenge still persists. Like people who doesn't have product experience want to be a PM, and it's a chicken and egg problem. But with how easy building product is nowadays, people can build like literally so many products in their portfolio.
Mhm.
Um, the issue now with so before the AI blow up, the issue is that people don't have these side projects. Now
Right.
everyone has side projects. The issue is more so how is your side project different? Like, is your side project actually creating user impact? Are you actually able to get people use it, monetize, and all of those engagement metrics? So I think the bread and butter of PM is still there, like understanding what creates value and building the product people will actually use. It's still like it. If anything, it's more important than ever because of how many products are out there just flooding the market.
What other challenges do you think people have?
I
Like,
think the challenges are people are not building enough valuable products that they can showcase their product skills. So then um, that means
this is why you have six plus interviews like a week with awesome companies, I'm guessing. Or I couldn't have said it better myself. But keep going. I had to react to that. That's very, very
yeah.
true words have not been spoken.
No, thank you. No, for
Yeah.
sure. I think if you're able to showcase with real
Uh-huh.
life experience what something you built has brought real value to the user and that you have the metric to back it up, then I don't see why some company wouldn't hire you because you've literally proven that you have the ability to build, have the ability to scale, the ability to understand user needs and come up with the right solution. You have product intuition and UX eyes as well. So with all of those skills, you essentially prove to someone that you can be a PM before them hiring you on as PM, which is why people are not landing jobs because they're not giving people proof that they can already be a rockstar PM.
Wow. Somebody had to say it. I'm glad I didn't have to say it one more time today. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Um, why do you think more people in Canada don't apply to US product manager jobs?
I think people in Canada are, I feel like there are like few different hypotheses, putting on my PM hat, is that hypothesis
Mhm.
number one is people didn't know that they can apply for US jobs. Like they didn't know that they don't have to move to the US to work a US job.
Mhm.
So the lack of awareness of the fully remote jobs out there. And second is that people probably also have imposter syndromes. They feel like, oh, they're not good enough, or like they felt like there's immigration challenges and they felt they don't have the big names on the brand to work for US jobs. And then three, I think it's potentially that company may have bias against Canadian candidates as well, because they haven't hired as much from Canada or they tend to like, yeah, the assumption is that the jobs are fully remote. Or if they want to relocate, there is an additional barrier as well for people to relocate to the US. But overall, I would say I've seen a lot more fully remote jobs from the US that allow people to actually work from Canada, which is rare. And for people who want to move, I would say it's also, oh, the fourth thing is networking is, of course, across country, there is barrier because people, let's say in Toronto, go to Toronto tech events, they can meet people locally and then build that network. Across the sea, I think it's like across the country, it's a little harder to build that connection and then for people to know how to network online in an effective way and not at an event. So I think that's a lot of soft skills to be built and also understand like who to reach out to do the cold outreach and online networking.
Wow. That's also very true too, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, why it did you ever, I mean, I'm not really getting a vibe from it right now from your level of confidence, but did you ever feel imposter syndrome yourself? Because I feel that like, well, I lived in Korea for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I met a guy that crazy enough, he applied to a product manager role in New York and he
Hmm.
worked basically New York hours in Korea for 2 years until they were able to bring him over.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a crazy story. And he went after it like crazy. And I just
Yeah.
really seeing that I was like anything is possible, right?
Hmm.
They definitely don't pay as well for product managers in Asia in general for
For
the
sure.
region.
Yeah.
Um, why do you think like I don't know, did you ever have imposter syndrome yourself? Because I would say out of maybe like 100, 250 people, depending on the month, I would meet somebody like him or like you where they're just like, F it, I'm just gonna go for it. You know? Did you, yeah.
No, that's true. I definitely did. Like as someone who is an international student, came to Canada when I was 17 and didn't speak as good of an English back then, and also didn't have the generational wealth to back me up as someone who like come here on my own. I think I definitely had imposter syndrome back when I was like high school and maybe like first, second year of university. Uh, and what really changed my mind is probably just like the mindset. I think I am a bolder person by nature, but also I do realize that rules are arbitrary. I think one thing that changed the way I view life is that rules are built for people to be rules are built to be broken, and there's actually no rules on life, and you don't need someone's permission to go do something. You can just go do it. And I feel like a lot of people have all of these like internal criticism boundaries that's like just restricting them. They're just like, oh, I can't do that because I don't have the qualification for it. Uh, I think I just stopped like inhibiting myself from doing the things I want to do and pursue the dreams I want to pursue. Uh, so it's really all in your head. So once you realize that, once you realize your mindset can literally change your life, your action, everything around you, there's no reason not to do the things you want to do.
How do you personally feel and deal with getting rejected from an interview? Like yourself, because that I think hits harder for what I've noticed out here working in New York and Bay Area is that the people that usually come from the way better schools, it hits them way harder than the people that come from the crappier schools.
Yeah.
How does rejection hit you? Because I feel like that holds a lot of people back.
I think that's another thing that people have like expectations for themselves. If like your life has been smooth, you've been succeeding all the way, and you haven't had enough failure in your life to ground yourself to know that you can start from zero anytime and learn, that ego is going to hold you back, right? Because you expect to be successful in the interview, you expect to get a job because you went to Harvard, you went to MIT, Stanford, like you're like the top of the crown. But I would say education and the past credentials doesn't really define your future. And it's important for everyone to recognize that your past doesn't define your future. Your future self does. What you do now will define what you get in the future. So I would say put less emphasis on the things that people traditionally think about, like the degree, whatever things that make you feel like set you apart. Like have the mindset of a lifelong learner. Be able to let go of your ego and treat every mistake and up as an opportunity to learn, right? Like I've been rejected a lot over interviews, just like you. Um, and I've like gone to final rounds with 10 companies just in the past month and got rejected, right? Like, and a lot of times I think it's also to not take things personally, um, because there's so many external factors that's outside of your control. There could be another candidate that has better domain expertise than you, someone who has like maybe 10 plus years of experience, and or sometimes the roles get terminated, sometimes the company just freeze hiring. So there are a lot of things that is actually not in your control. All you can do is like your aura of control, things that you can improve on. Like you can improve your skill set, you can improve your interviewing style, you can improve, like get feedback on improving your product case thinking and intuition, and you can build more projects. So all of those are things that you can focus on. And so I wouldn't like I never really dwell on my failures. I just think about how I can improve, and it helps ground me as well to know that I still have so much to learn.
How do you like, I think coming up with some final questions here, how do you determine like what's a good product to go out there and actually build? Uh I mean like in terms of for a side project, because you are right, there are a lot of very low impact, low value side projects out there. Like do you yourself prompt like, hey, what's a valuable side project set for like said company?
So I would actually think about this as more of a self-discovery kind of question. I would think
Hmm.
about like what do you have unique advantage that other people don't? Like either it being personal connection, distribution network, or industry insight that you have because you worked, let's say you worked in the service industry for the past 5 years and you really understand the ins and outs of how that workflow look like. And I would think about it more as like what you can uniquely bring to the table and then dive deeper into the pain point that either you have already personally experienced, you're passionate about, or you have unique insight that other people don't have on. Because if you just prompt LLM about like, oh, what is the most valuable side project I can build right now, everyone will get similar answer and you're not building anything uniquely different and also not something that is meaningful to you. So I think that's also part of the reason why I started Iris Lens, the podcast, is because I am uniquely positioned as a PM who has been in AI for the past 4 years, someone
Hmm.
who is deeply passionate about AI workflows and making that tactical for people. And then I'm bringing that landscape plus the live podcasting with a live audience and building a community piece together. That's
Hmm.
how I come up with the unique offering of where I am strategically positioned against other podcasts and where I find my niche. So I would say build something you're passionate about, something that solves your problem that you will benefit from. That's what's going to be sustainable in the long term.
Any final words for people that are still thinking about making a transition to product management in 2026 to wrap it up?
Yeah, I feel like I've covered a lot. In terms of if you are still not sure if PM is the right role for you, I would say do more validation, talk to like do your own user interviews, talk to PMs, understand what their day-to-day actually look like, especially now with AI changing PM workflows so much. You need to be live and breathing AI workflows and building automations, building agents on your own. If you're not doing that, like you're already behind. So I would say if you like because being a good PM requires a deep level of curiosity, right? Like you are essentially asking that 7 levels of why to get to the root cause of the problem. You're not in love with the solution, you're in love with the problem. So to become a good PM, you need to be curious to explore new tools, experiment, and really understand how you can solve, how you can first discover the right problem to solve, and second, figure out the best solution for it. So to do that, you need to right now be very AI enabled and understand how you can use leverage AI as a tool instead of letting AI to replace your critical thinking, and which I think a lot of people are doing, which will only make you dumber over time. So do not ask AI to write your PRD for you, please. I've seen way too many AI slot PRDs, and it's not going to help you to become a better TM.
Well, I didn't realize we had so much in common. Uh, very nice. Okay, Iris, thank you so much for spending time out of your day to do this podcast with us. I very much look forward to doing the next one in person with you in Toronto.
Yeah, for sure. And last words for anyone interested in AI workflow, go follow us on Iris Lens on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and yeah, follow me on LinkedIn, Iris Wall.
Let's do it. All right, talk to you soon.
Okay, that's soon. Bye.